Welcome to this special presentation of the Hard Rock Show. I'm Andrew, and this time around been joined by Jeff in the middle of the screen, and on the other side of the screen, Conrad. We've got him back for the first time in a long time, so very good to see the pair of you here. Thank you so much for jumping into tonight's little show here. Yeah. This is our Halloween special for 2025. No get-ups, no costumes, no nothing this year. We're just going to probably put some little overlays on the screen. Jeff and I believe ourselves to be scary enough looking as it is.
Yeah, I am scary enough.
There's, as we call Jeff Casper sometimes when he comes in with the pale screen, but just as a very quick update, just before we do get into things tonight, obviously there are links and all sorts of stuff to check the music that we're talking about in the description box, so make sure you go and check it out. Also links to us, so follow, subscribe, all the usual stuff. But our usual Thursday night live streams, I'm going to put them on ice for a bit, just simply because, as a lot of you know, behind the scenes there's a few things going on health wise for me, so I'm just putting some changes in place to work out how I best spend my energy effectively in the meantime. Everything's okay. There's nothing overly dramatic and stuff, but just there are things that aren't quite settling down, and I need to make some changes overall, and we'll see where this sort of journey takes us over the next little bit. So just appreciate your patience. Bear with us. We'll get there. And this is our little Halloween special, which, if everything goes to plan, will be released on Halloween night in Australia. So there we go, folks. I've got to turn this around pretty quickly. Before we get to the end of tonight's show, obviously we have Conrad here, so we'll catch up with Conrad very, very shortly. We've got some hot rocks to go through, as we normally did on the Thursday live streams, a couple of songs to talk about, and then after that we're going to review, between the three of us here, the brand new Helloween album, Giants and Monsters, and then we will go through and I'll go back into the vault and get some classic reviews out of the Helloween Keepers 1 and 2 albums out that haven't been seen for quite some time. Let's go back to the old days, back to the bar set if everything goes to plan. Looking forward to seeing how this one goes. Make sure you give us your thoughts and jump in the comments and all sorts of stuff as we go along here tonight. But anyway, we have Conrad here. I haven't spoken to you for a while, so what the hell have you been up to? It sounds like you've had an interesting time of it over there. How's it all going?
Yeah, I mean, it's good. I've been doing working on a lot of shows and seeing a lot of shows as well. So it's been quite busy, very, very busy indeed. And festivals as well. Obviously, I was working on some festivals, I think, as well, that came to an end a couple of months back with the festival season winding up. But yeah, it's been pretty busy, definitely.
So what have some of the highlights been for you over there? give us. I know how many highlights have you got, probably, but give us the make us all jealous, Conrad.
I just saw Megadeth with for the 36th time now with Disturbed. Megadeth and Disturbed, that was last week, which was great. Battle Beast was last week. Nice. So Megadeth, Disturbed, Battle Beast, phenomenal, amazing, incredible. Helloween, I was working on. We'll get to that as well. That was the week before, so there's just been a shit ton on. There's been an awful lot of gigs on. I mean, highlights, working some of these festivals have been nice. The smaller ones, Steelhouse Festival in Wales, and there was another one, Stone Dead, as well, here in the north of the UK as well. So pretty good. We just saw Testament and Obituary about 2 weeks ago as well. That was good. Testament, Obituary, Destruction, and Nervosa all on the one bill.
Wow,
that was a good gig. That was a cool show. So yeah, there's been a lot. It's pretty funny up.
Yeah. It's just insane how many shows you get to over there. I mean, obviously, being in that part of the world, you're going to get more of them, but it just must be do you look back on your time in Australia and go, yeah, it's not the same thing?
Well, I've seen more in what, I think I've been here, 2 years now, just over 2 years now. It would have been 2 years in June. I think I've seen more here in the last 2 years than I would have done in Australia in about the last 7. So, you just easy. It's just so many gigs here happening all the time. I mean, this week I've got Go Go Bordello. I don't know if you're familiar with Go Go Bordello.
No, I've heard the name, yeah.
Go Go Bordello and Fields of the Nephilim, which is a goth rock band. Also Arch Enemy this week as well. We got Arch Enemy with Amorphis and Alluviate. Wow. Yeah, it's just, it's mental. Sometimes you can be going to shows like, each night of the week. It can be full on. I got Graham Bonnet tonight.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So it's pretty full on.
Yeah, nice,
and it's great. It's fantastic. It's just what I came back for. There just wasn't enough in Australia to keep me entertained, twiddling my thumbs. So it's nice to be able to come here and do all of these shows. It is stressful. It's a stressful place to live. London's very overpopulated, insanely overpopulated, and there's a lot of stress with living here. It's not an easy place to live, but financially, by no means, it's very tough. But I'm getting to see a lot of gigs. I'm getting into a lot of them because I'm working on some of them as well, so that helps my budget a lot. With not having to pay for half of them.
Yeah.
I got Volbeat next week.
Wow.
That'll be good. So that's it. That's pretty fun.
All right, cool. Well, we look forward to getting more of those reviews from you as the time progresses, Conrad. But yeah, keep us posted. I'm looking forward to living vicariously through you because I can't get to anything from where I live in regional Queensland. Right. So there you go. All righty, let's get stuck into things and recap our Hot Rocks part of things before we get to the main event of tonight's show. And that is obviously to go through the Hot Rocks, like I was saying. And to do that, we normally go through the Tastemaker News songs. Now, these playlists are available on Spotify and our YouTube profiles, both of those, so you can go and check them out. The new songs and Tastemakers currently, if for Patreon people that are paying attention now, get your votes in over the weekend because Sunday night I'm going to tally everything up. So get your votes in. This is your first call. I'll put another post in Discord tomorrow, Discord and Patreon about that tomorrow. But the new songs that have been added into Tastemakers this time around are Aerosmith with Young Blood with My Only Angel, Fading Hour with Out of Nowhere, Leprous with Take On Me, a cover, Mad Parish with An Age to Quell, Megadeth with Tipping Point, Smiling Man with Divergent, Stormseeker with I'm Gonna Be, that's the cover of the 500 Miles song as well. It's a couple of covers in there this time around. And then we've got a few here from one from Zenobia with Throne of Want, Dead Honey with Undertow, and Head of Clay with Leave It Behind. There's a few Aussie ones in there as well. So that's in there to go and vote on over the weekend coming up. And then we get to the Hot Rocks ranking of where the last voting round ended up. So some mentions here quickly before we get to the top 10. We have Ashes of Autumn with Enemy, Gary Ho with Leader Ford with You Know I Would, and Relica, Your Touch, and Catalana with Shadows. Not quite enough votes to make the top 10, but they did get some love, so I want to give them a quick little shout out there. Coming in at number 10 this time around is The Pretty Reckless with For I Am Death. That song's been hanging around for a few weeks now, and it's dropped from number 2 down to where it is at the moment, but it's still in there, so we'll see how long it holds on for. Number 9 is New Edition Brave Rival with Poison. Number 8, another New Edition Star Crazy with Bee Stick from Calling In Sick. Nice an Aussie band with some vernacular getting in there. Number 7, Mirador, Feels Like Gold. That's been hanging on for a couple of weeks as well, and it's still in there. Number 6, the one that's been hanging on for forever and a day and keeps hanging around this part of the world is Nesta with In the Name of Rock and Roll. That's been there for, 6 months or something now, so it just keeps on keeping on. Then we get to a bunch of new songs here. So number 5 this week is Arch Enemy with Break the Spell. Number 4 is Melbourne band Stone Trip with Postcards. Number 3, which is the first of the new songs we'll talk about and hence give us on a bit of a review here, is Judas Priest and Black Sabbath, or Ozzy Osbourne together, with their version of War Pigs, which is for charity. Again, links to everything is in the description box. But this song here was the second highest ranked new song to make it into Hot Rocks this week. And this duet sees the proceeds going to the Glenn Tipton Parkinson's Foundation and Cure Parkinson's. The artists involved in this one clearly need no introduction, and it's odd to have this duet be this posthumous thing and to be the first time that Ozzy and Halford have actually had a chance to work together, all things considered. That said, this all came about after Sharon loved their version, which the band had put together, so much so that it's on the official Black Sabbath channel as well. The plan was to get Ozzy in on this in some way, shape, or form. Obviously, things played out the way they did, and so they have his vocals, I believe, lifted from the original recording way back and then paired them off with Halford's vocals this time around, and we've got this gem of a song here to go through. It took number 3 spot this week. We couldn't let this go by without talking about it, could we, Jeff? So let's throw it to you. Yeah. How'd you go with this one?
Well, look, this was a bit of a surprise because I knew that Priest had done some Black Sabbath stuff, but I didn't know that Ozzy had actually recorded with Priest. So this was not done after his death. This was done prior to his death, which I was impressed with because when you hear it, Ozzy sounds. Well, he sounds fucking great in this. I like really.
Well, there you go. You corrected me. I didn't realize that. Fucking hell. Makes it even more impressive.
Indeed. This was done while he was alive. So, and so I was like, well, like he sounds better on this than he has in years. I would go so far as to say that this is one of the better sounding songs that Ozzy's done vocally. in a long time, because it sounds just like, it almost sounds like the original recording, like it's that well done.
It fooled me. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah. So, like, a lot of people think, oh, well, they've just put Ozzy's lyrics from his recording and mashed them together. And you could have done that. But I had to Google it. I'm like, this is not, it's just got to be done as some sort of tribute thing. Nope. This was done while Ozzy was alive. So I was really impressed with that, because I was like, well, shit, Ozzy sounds great here. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I thought this was just it was lively. It had, it was fresh sounding. It actually, it reminded me of a cover. Obviously, you know it's a cover, but at the same time, it's hardly a cover when the original singer is singing on it, which is kind of weird. But at the same time, from Judas Priest's perspective, it's a cover. It kind of reminded me of, and I prefer it. But if you go back like to 1990, remember when Faith No More did War Pigs, and they did that off the real thing? They did a really good job,
and
a really good version. Because I've heard so many bands cover, Sabbath and whatnot, and do, I mean, everyone's done it. I mean, I've done it myself. But the thing is, the energy that was here was just, it was something. It was pretty special. So I really enjoyed it. I thought everybody in Priest was playing absolutely perfect. There was no bum notes. There was a little bit like, there was a couple times when they actually kind of went off and they were doing something that was like, they're not sticking to the script 100%, which is kind of nice from a music standpoint. But at the same time, everything was done very, very well, very tasteful. I'm going to give this 9 shots, because this was fucking fantastic.
Nice. Cool. All right. Conrad, how about you? What have you... I'm assuming you've heard this song. It's hard to miss this one.
I can't say I have. Sorry.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
Right. Oh, my gosh.
What's going on? I haven't had a chance.
That's right.
I briefly reminded me of it, because I think I briefly read something a couple of weeks back. So I was like, oh, okay. And but it kind of went under my radar, unfortunately. I had a shit ton going on. The new Megadeth track, obviously, got my attention. Probably a bit more so. But this be keen to hear this, definitely.
Next week. Yeah.
No worries. Yeah, and I'm sorry, guys.
No, all good. No drama at all.
Sorry, guys. Don't kill me.
It's no drama.
I don't doubt it's probably brilliant.
Oh, look, I'm going to agree with everything Jeff said, to be honest. It's there's no denying how good this is, and Jeff has schooled me, because I tried to do some digging today and didn't get the info that Jeff has on hand. So for me, I'm blown away that it's a new vocal. It doesn't sound like it. It sounds as good as the original. It's fantastic. It
was actually done specifically for this reason.
Yes, and it was done for charity.
He redid it for this reason.
For charity.
Correct.
Amazing.
Yep, that's right. And it was apparently it was done, like Sharon had approached Judas Priest and said, we want to do something. And but this was, he died in July, so this was done prior to that.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's as far as everything I found online is said, pointed me in that direction. So the internet doesn't lie. It's got to be true. I don't know.
Of course.
But,
right? Of course.
But hey, if someone out there, anyone watching, please school me if that's the case.
Yeah. If we're wrong, let us know.
If I'm wrong, let me know. But as far as I know, it was done prior to his death. Yep.
Nice.
I mean, it would have been a really fucking miracle if it was done after his death. Get it? Sorry.
The
zombie apocalypse. Yeah, I know. Sorry. Is it too soon? Too soon? No.
Never too soon. Look,
Helloween. Yeah, come on.
It is Helloween. That's a good point there. Look, we all know and love the song, obviously. It's one of those ones that you don't get to watching this show and not have some sort of idea about the song itself. What I enjoyed, though, is how well this is put together. It's absolutely seamless. The performances are impressive across the board. Added more weight to that now with the information that I've just learned. They added, like you said, Jeff, they did go a little bit off the script and add a little bit more of a metal kind of flair. The beat is a bit more direct and less sort of groovy than the original song is, but that, in a lot of respects, to me, made the song land even better, because it just made it have a little bit of its own flavor. You get a little bit of Judas Priest in there,
exactly.
and you get this classic song that's, all inspired. Black Sabbath obviously is Black Sabbath, but I just thought the two worlds really combine nicely on this particular track. There's nothing tacky about it, which is great because, you know, things like this can also come off as being, you know, for a gimmick or for a whatever. And it's, no, this just felt legit and locks you in from beginning to end. And for a longer song, it's obviously important. But the way they did the vocals was fantastic, but the band Judas Priest themselves across the board deserve a hell of a lot of credit. They obviously expect no less from a band this talented, but they nailed it. And I love how they just put enough of themselves and make it stand apart. But then you got this vintage now performance from Ozzy, and that along with Halford, the way they trade off the lyrics against each other is just takes this song to a different level that we haven't had before. No. I would have loved to have been in the studio when this is going on, because can you imagine? Can you imagine being in the studio to watch this one just be a fly on the wall for a bit?
Yeah.
But in execution terms, the performance is great. The song is obviously, we know the song, but the tones, the production is fantastic. The space for the drum fills, the guitar work, the bass as well gets to shine. Like, everything here is fantastic, and everyone gets a little moment on this classic song to take it to, like I said, a new level. And for the proceeds of this to go to charity is just even more, you know, to the better as far as I'm concerned. What I loved was how the vocals were just one line to another or a verse to another, and they just were seamless, the pair of them. And then when you knew it was coming, but it had to be done well, and that was the moment where they had both vocals at the same time mesh and sing the same line. And it's one thing to know it's coming, it's another thing to hear it or whatever else, but you expect it's going to be there. But when they do it and they executed that part as well as they did, like at first I went like, I hope they do it at this line, and you know it's going to be the typical way to do it, but to do it without any cheese and just to nail it and make it feel really authentic was a really well done aspect of this song. And I thought that was a real standout, and one of those moments of, you know, you're listening to music for the fun of it. It's one of those moments you won't forget for a very, very long time, if ever. There's no surprises here except how good it is, to be honest, and you shouldn't expect that, but like you shouldn't be surprised by that, but at the same time you always hope that it's going to go off as well as ones like this too, and this is almost perfect as far as I'm concerned. So like you, Jeff, 9 shots from me. I fucking loved it to bits, which was fantastic. After that one done, I'm trying not to segue too abruptly, but we do keep moving on here. Number 2 song this week is The Dreadful Tides with House of Pain. That is still kicking on, about a month or so in now, so it's going very, very well. The Dreadful Tides are doing wonders here, so well done to the Melbourne band, which then ties us over to the number 1 song this week, nominated by Kat, which is Amorphis, Fog to Fog. This is from the Finnish band's 15th studio album, Borderland, which was released back in September. We're a few weeks off on everything going on. I saw a note in the Patreon chat here about Ace. We'll touch on Ace in just a moment, but with everything going on behind the scenes, we're a bit behind, but this song went to number 1 pretty cleanly in the latest cycle. Like I said, Kat put it forward, so well done to Kat for picking this song this week, because it got universally loved so far. We'll give our thoughts on it in a second. About the song, the keyboardist Santeri Kallio adds, I travelled as far north as I could to the last corner of the Arctic Ocean, and there I found the inspiration for Fog to Fog. Dread black cliffs and feelings frozen forever, a journey to Norwegian fjords where no one lives voluntarily, maybe the Vikings once upon a time, most likely out of necessity. That's the backdrop to this song. Safe to say some of the visuals in the video for this one make sense too. But all that said, let's dive in. Jeff, how did you go with the number 1 song for this week?
Yeah, well, I didn't know it was number 1 song, but when it came on, I was like, this doesn't remind me of Amorphis for some reason. I really liked this. This was, there was something about this that immediately made me stand up and go, what am I listening to? Because I didn't know. I just had it playing, literally, you know, and it was going through the playlist. And I'd finished, because for whatever reason, I don't know, on my playlist, I can see on the thing here, it looks like it's like the second song. But for me, I had already went through all of the Helloween stuff. And then it came up after that. And I'm like, this isn't fucking Helloween. What is this? And then, and I'm like, okay. So it played, and I was like, well, this is fucking great. What is this? And then I grabbed my phone. I'm like, oh. And I listened to it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really liked this. I thought this was exceptional, really. It was kind of like, for me, it was like, no spoilers, but it was a breath of fresh air after listening to that Helloween album. And then getting into it, just felt alive. It just felt alive. And it really felt good. I really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. Yeah, once again, this is a 9 shots from me. This is I would like to hear more of this style of music from these guys. So yeah,
cool. All right, Conrad, I don't know if you heard this song, but you have seen this band live recently. So
Amorphis.
No, they're playing this.
Oh, they're playing. Sorry, okay.
They're playing this weekend.
Right. Sorry, it's too hard to keep up with where you're at.
Opening up Arch Enemy.
Sometimes it's hard for me too. They're playing with Arch Enemy. That's right. They're playing with Arch Enemy and Alleviate. They are playing this weekend. I'm at Fields of the Nephilim, unfortunately.
Yep. Nice.
Same night as Fields of the Nephilim. And the same night. Oh, maybe not. Actually, I'll look into this.
Okay.
I'll double check this because if they're not, then I can catch them. I will catch them. Cool. I will go see them. So yes. I do vaguely remember seeing Amorphis, maybe stumbling around drunk in a field in a festival, possibly. Yeah. Obviously, paying a lot of attention, but yes, apologies there. So, but I understand these guys are a bit like a prog. They have a prog element.
Yeah, they're a proggy band. Yeah.
Well, I love my prog. A big fan of prog. So I probably should maybe invest more time.
An underlying heaviness to them.
Yeah, there's a heaviness to them, but it works. But anyway,
yeah. But I'll definitely invest some time in checking it out because I do like my prog. So I'll have a look.
Yeah. Cool. Well, for me, the description from the keyboardist about traveling as far north as you can and all that sort of stuff that actually sets the tone really well for this song. I thought it's from the start. I thought it was loaded with atmosphere, and it really. I haven't checked out the full album yet, but it makes me want to go and check out the whole album. The first 30 seconds was enough to sit there and go, okay, there's a lot of atmosphere, and within that, there's a lot of drama in the song, which was really well done and just locks you in from the start. It just builds from this perfect intro and then punches with a fantastic riff, and I love how it's both brooding and melodic at the same time. They've got this melancholy with light and air that just is a really interesting contrast that they've managed to balance out incredibly well. And that aspect of balance and the atmosphere created by invoking those images of the far north, the Arctic square or circle, so to speak, they've really done a good job of just meshing, the visuals with the sounds, and your imagination can just, take you wherever it wants to go. And I think it just works wonderfully well. I love the lyrics on this song too. It's a great story being told. I think it's an impressive piece of work in that regard. But what I loved on top of that was the use of harmony here and there, just subtle little lines of harmony, which was just a really wonderful touch. And again, that balance, that light and shade across the whole thing, the use of the harmony with the riff and stuff was just really well done. There's a fantastic hook in this one. You can hear the chorus in your head as you think about the song. But I love the depths that this song explores as well with I mentioned light and shade and balance. There's some growly vocals in this one, but they're not overdone. They're only sparing, just like
That's right.
It's an equal measure to the harmony. The harmony's only here and there. The growling vocals are only here and there. It just shows you how vast of an expanse these guys have in their sonic repertoire. And they put it together damn well, and it sounds fantastic. The production is great. The songwriting is good. The performances are fantastic. This sounds fucking fantastic. I thought the lead into the solo was brilliant. The solo itself even better than that. This has a certain intensity, but never loses its sense of rock sensibility or rock swing, if that makes sense. Like it's always got this groove to it, while still maintaining, like I said, that sort of brooding intensity. The tail part of the solo was also very ghost-like, I thought, just the tonality of it and the way the note choices were there, and I adored that, the tailing out of the solo. I thought it was a fantastic little touch. But even after that, they strip things back in the song for a moment, which gives you a perfect little moment to breathe before they bring in the obligatory key change that comes with this sort of stuff, and then, close out the song really, really strong. This isn't a complicated song. For a prog band, it's surprisingly direct. But that said, it's so damn good, it's impossible to ignore. It's a very, very worthy winner in this cycle as far as I'm concerned. If you like your rock and metal load with melody and with a bit of bite at the same time, then this is definitely a fantastic song to check out. I gave this one 9 shots as well. I really did thoroughly enjoy this one.
Well, very, very cool. Yeah.
It's a very good song.
Can you send me the link link to the Spotify playlist, please?
Yes, I
Sure.
will do. So we can get that taken care of for you. So you can be up to date with our listening stuff there. We've got YouTube and Spotify for those playing along at home. You can find the playlist there, which we'll have linked in the description of this one too for those watching later on, because we're pre-recording this one. Alrighty. It was mentioned in the chat, speaking of pre-recording things here, and we have been a few weeks away while I've been dealing with a few things. So we haven't really had a chance to sit here and talk about it. I figure why not quickly? Obviously, I don't want to go too long now, but just obviously we haven't gotten together on camera, any of us, since the passing of Ace Frehley, the late great spaceman. So just wanted to quickly acknowledge his passing and pass on our condolences from us here at the show to those that knew and loved him. Obviously, there's not only his friends and family and bandmates and that over the duration, but also the legion of fans across the world too. So I just wanted to pass on our condolences to everyone involved. But just a quick sort of thought on what Ace Frehley means to you, or the legacy you think he leaves behind. We'll start with Conrad this time around. I think you can safely talk about Ace Frehley.
I think a very underrated guitar player, incredibly underrated. Did some innovative stuff, actually. I think that doesn't get the recognition maybe that perhaps he should. I've seen him do some stuff that I was quite impressed with. So I think rather underrated, and also plays with a lot of feeling. I liked his playing. I thought he had a lot of feeling in his playing. So just great guitar player, and a songwriter too. And I think people, from what I understand with Ace, is he was also in the early days of Kiss was a bigger part of the sort of how do I say, like the contributing side of things, much more so, wasn't he, in the songwriting and the and the business sort of side of things, of the marketing of the band and all that sort of stuff. So so much people, I guess people think of Kiss, they think of Gene and Paul more so than they might do of Ace, but I think Ace was a big part of it too, and he doesn't often get the credit that perhaps he deserves. So yeah,
he agree with that. About you, Jeff?
Oh yeah, look, I agree with everything Conrad said. Look, Ace to me, underrated in the sense that he didn't get the recognition for a lot of things, but not underrated in the sense of his influence on pop, music and rock music and pop culture, I should say, not pop music, no. But his influence was and is, he is an amazing musician, amazing guitar player. And if you thought that his playing was simple and stuff like that, but that was really kind of an amazing thing in itself. He didn't overplay anything, and he was completely self-taught as well. He literally learned to play guitar by just listening to albums of the day way back when. So listen to his solo stuff. That's all you really need to do. If you're curious as to what he's capable of, listen to his solo stuff. And Andrew and I had reviewed 10,000 Volts I think it was last year, or it might have been early this year. I don't know. I don't remember now, but it was sometime. Mm-hmm. And we both really, really enjoyed that. Obviously that's the last thing that he's done, but his solo career matched that of in volume easily of Kiss. He put out I'm sure as many albums and solo as Kiss did as well, and he started, of course, after Kiss, so he was very prolific, obviously, once he ended up leaving in '82. Look, for me personally, I mentioned when he passed that Ace was not one of my favorite players technically, but he was one of my favorite players for what he brought to the guitar. He had a vibe with the guitar, just something, a personality. He just injected himself into it that very few, if any, have done, which is very, very impressive. And if you listen to his music, you can close your eyes and it's him, which is very cool. So, and Tommy Thayer can't say the same thing about his stuff that he's done. It just shows you as well how much Kiss really thought of Ace as well, because of all the guys that they brought in after, Peter Criss left, and Eric Carr and stuff like that. They brought in Tommy Thayer, and who did Tommy Thayer look like? He was literally Ace. He wasn't trying to be somebody else. So what's the deal with that? So I mean, this guy. I mean, I'm sure he could have. Who knows? Maybe we'll never know why. But that's a testament to Ace as well. So, yeah, I love the guy. He's obviously going to be very sorely missed in the world of music, but his influence will live on forever, I think.
Yeah, hard to follow the sentiment there, and I'm going to agree with everything being said beforehand. I think that, even though I've been probably more critical than other people on the show of his solo career, I did go back and revisit Frehley's comment the other week, and I was just blown away how good that album is from beginning to end as well. By the way, just like you sit there and go, "What the fuck?" Like, but the thing is, for me, it's not so much about the technical execution and whatever else, but the fact that this guy is such an iconic figure, and no matter what he did or didn't do, whatever band he was or wasn't with, his persona, his character, his personality shone through and was a huge influence on so many people, and being able to play such a part in the history of the music world that we love so much. It's remarkable. I know that as the years go on, we're going to have more and more of these horrible years where, we keep losing icons. But, it was funny going back to that Frehley's Comment album, because there's a line in there that you sit there and go, well, it's hard to listen to that line the same way about playing without an ace in your deck kind of thing. And that's how the music world kind of feels at the moment with a few things going on. But at the same time, we get all these songs and videos and everything else in between to remember him by, and us as fans will always get to have that. So it's always a thank you for anyone that gives these things to us as fans to enjoy over the duration. I hope that generations to come after us still get to appreciate and see what so many other people have seen in the years and decades prior to, because a special, special talent has been taken, not the first one this year, but no less a light for it. And it's just a shocking blow, and I think a lot of people were very caught by surprise by this one, and hit home in some respects harder for some people than even Ozzy did earlier this year as well. So we're having one of those horrible years, but this is another one of those icons that probably gone a little bit too soon, but at the same time has left one hell of a mark and will be very hard to top. I don't think it ever will be, to be honest. So we'll see what happens. But yeah,
tragic too.
Tragic, yeah. It was a very sad.
What happened to him? Because people don't realize that he fell down in his home studio and hit his head, and that was on September 25th. He never regained consciousness.
Yeah.
So he died on the 16th of October, and he was in a coma. So I listened to a tribute that Eddie Trunk had done.
Oh wow!
And of course, Eddie Trunk they knew, because they were like best friends.
Mm-hmm.
And he said of all the things that he's ever done, he said that this was hit us harder than anything he's ever had to do. And he said that he actually had written. They knew. He wrote the eulogy ahead of time. And it was waiting, So, I mean, that would have been incredibly tough. And just listening to Eddie talk about it, oh my God, Eddie's crying in the interview. He's like just sobbing. It's like, holy fuck, it's hard. It was just hard to listen to.
Yeah.
So, one thing to lose an icon, but it's another thing to lose an icon who happens to be like your best friend.
Yeah. That's why there are people that are always going to be impacted more than us on the outside. And that's why I always lead these segments with condolences to those who knew and loved the person, because regardless of whatever you think, there are people that love these people, and those are the ones, same thing with Sharon watching Sharon at the funeral for Ozzy, and they're like, there's this. We all see it, we all understand it, but it's just one of those things, unfortunately, time marches on no matter what, and yeah, it's just unfortunate that this year is one of those years. But again, our condolences to everyone, and feel free to share your memories in the comments as you desire. There's no neat segue, so it's just time to segue. And this is now time to get on to the main event of tonight's show. Before we do a bit of a classic blast from the past in a few minutes here. But tonight, because it's Helloween, as we release this one, we're going to talk about the new album this year from the mighty Helloween. It's a fitting little way to do things, of course. We haven't touched on this one yet. The new album is Giants and Monsters. It's 10 tracks for 51 minutes. The 17th, if you don't mind, studio album from the German band, released August 2025 via Reigning Phoenix Music, their first on that particular label. Produced by Charlie Bauerfeind and Dennis Ward at a handful of studios across Europe. At least 2 singles have been released from this in This Is Tokyo and Universe. So far, the album has peaked at number 49 in the US, number 16 in the UK, number 15 in Japan, and alongside a host of top 20 top 50 slots across Europe. This is the second studio album from the now iconic Pumpkins lineup. And for those following us for a while, you'll know we've gone over their entire discography before, Dave and myself in particular. So far, though, we haven't touched on this album this year, so time to see how this iconic band's latest offering stacks up. Jeff, your thoughts on this one, good sir?
Well, okay. So, look, I've been a fan of Helloween, well, since this third album, which was Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 2. That was my first introduction to them. I didn't know who they were. I heard that song, Eagle Flies Free, and I'm just like, whoa, this is awesome. And I dug, jumped headfirst into this band. And I've loved them ever since. And but there was a time, I will say, probably in the early to mid 2000s and that sort of thing, where I sort of stepped back because it was they just weren't putting out anything that it was just like album after album that they were putting out. Just wasn't cranking it for me, and that's a shame because I love the band. So when I had a chance to listen to this album a month or so ago, when I first heard it, I was really looking forward to it. I think it came out in the end of August, so it hasn't been out that long. Gods and Monsters. So I was looking forward to it because the album Helloween, which I think came out in, was it 2019, Andrew? No, later than that. When was that? It wasn't that long ago. When was it?
2 or 23, I think
2020,
it was.
2021.
21. Okay, yep.
Yep. Well, that's what Wiki says anyway. Who knows?
There you go. Well, who knows?
But
I trust Wiki over Google. So
yeah, I was. I actually pay. I pay every time. I've had a subscription to Wikipedia where I actually pay the bastards money. But anyway, I use it a lot, so why not? I feel guilty. But 2020, that album 2021 was really well. I really enjoyed that. I thought, okay, they're back. This is really, really good. And of course, they brought back, the classic lineup, which was. I was like, this is what more bands need to do because they've got so many fans from that old era, and then they bring back, a founding member, and he fits right in and fits like a glove, and it's just like, wow, that's what more bands need to do, and I loved it.
Right. Yep.
However, listening to Gods and Monsters, when you're listening to it after you're done, the one word that you never want to hear in your own head. This was what I heard, and it was predictable. The album to me was a predictable mix of songs. There's some really good songs on here. Don't get me wrong, really strong songs. But the album itself, as overall, they weren't taking any chances. They were just putting out something that was safe. They knew that people wouldn't hate it, because how can you hate it? It sounds just like every other Helloween album, pretty much. And so it was safe and predictable, and I think that for me, they have to lose some points for that, because I think that's what made Helloween, especially early on, that's what made them so good, was that they were putting out stuff that nobody else was. They actually almost, some people say they kind of created a genre to themselves that millions of other bands have now flocked in and and filled in that gap. So that's a pretty amazing thing. But I don't think anyone's now listening to like anything that they've done in recent years, even with 2021's Helloween, and decided that this this is the way that we're going to go as a band, because that genre now it's old, it's sort of flat, it's nothing new in that space, unfortunately. And I don't be sounding overcritical, because it probably does sound overly critical. But I think I have the right to be a little bit critical of a band that I've adored for so long. Like I said, since the 80s, I've been listening to these guys and
as much right as anyone else has, man. So go off.
It's just for me. I can actually remember. I don't know if it was one of my friends, a good friend I went to school with, Terry. I don't know if I saw the video for Eagle Flies Free on Much Music, or because he was a big fan. He would bring albums. Him and his brother, his older brother Tom, they would go out and buy LPs of bands like nobody had fucking ever heard of. And then he would bring them to school. He'd make cassette copies of them, and if you wanted it, he'd give you a copy. So my buddy Terry would do all that, and I remember he would do that. So I don't know if this is where I heard it. I don't know, but I remember watching the video for Eagle Flies Free, and I remember just thinking, okay, this is something special. And of course, then I dove into the band, but I've kind of gone off the rails a bit, because I've sort of given the history of me and the band, and that's really not what people want to hear. I'm sorry about that. I'm Mr. Digress. Gods and Monsters for me is, I don't think it's a great album. I think it's got some great songs, and in fact, I should have written them down. But the song that I will mention that I like the most, I think I like a little too much. Universe, Gravity for Hearts was another good one. Hand of God, and maybe Majestic, the last song. And the rest of the album was just like, it felt like filler to me. It felt like they were just putting an album out for an album's sake. And I hate that idea, because what they did in 21, when they brought that unit back together, they were making something that everyone was really looking forward to. And I think they've had 4 years since that album to this album to come up with something and say, okay, now we've done something that very few bands have done. Let's put out something spectacular. And they instead decided to put out something safe and predictable. And I think it was a lost opportunity. It doesn't mean it's a bad album, but I'm only going to give this album 6 shots, just because I think it could have been so much better. And so less predictable. There's some songs. I can't remember what song it was. I should have wrote this down. But there was some song on the album where it sounded like they just taken the guitar part, lifted it from Eagle Flies Free.
Oh, okay.
That really cool bass part in that song in Eagle Flies Free? I swear there's that fucking exact same part in one of these songs. I'm like, guys, that's fucking 35 years ago. Almost 40. Come on, guys. So I'm sorry. Yeah, it'd be like Metallica releasing another album and fucking let's do Enter Sandman Part 2. Like, fuck off. Well, they did it. How many times did they do Unforgiven? Here I go off script. Anyway, sorry. I can't help it. Anyway, that's me. 6 shots. Right. Sorry, guys. I'm hoping next album is better.
Cool. All right. Conrad, any thoughts? I know you got a story to tell. You've seen the band recently, so there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the new record, but I do. There was a song that they played live, which is from it, and it was called Tokyo, and I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was fantastic, and the show is a great show. It's a fantastic show. It was like an arena-sized show. It was 6 semis full of gear. And they put it into Hammersmith Apollo, which is not an arena. It's not an arena. So for an arena-sized show to go into Hammersmith Apollo was impressive. And it looked stunning. It looked incredible. The show just looked fantastic. So, yeah, it was a great gig. It was a great show. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So that song, the new song Tokyo, I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I think that's from the new record.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Seeing the pair of them sing together was just fantastic. It was great.
Yeah, I would love to see that live. I reckon that'd go
really.
I'd like to see it live too.
Yeah, no, they were really, really impressive. Actually, it went above and beyond my expectations. I thought, it was a great show. And yeah, you'll see there will be a photo. I think these guys are going to pop up. They're going to put it up. I worked on the gig
Squeeze it in somewhere.
It was 40th anniversary of Helloween, and they had these trucks out on tour with the logo down the side. I had to get a photo of that because,
of course, you did not to.
I was like, "Yeah, I've got to get this." No, killer, indeed. But I don't know the new record. Sorry,
no, that's cool.
But I did a song off it, and that was Tokyo. So and I thoroughly enjoyed that. I thought that was great.
Cool. Well, Jeff, I'm going to be contrarian to you tonight because I loved this album personally. Forgive me while I just dive in. As is pretty much a tradition for these guys, they open with an absolute monster of a track in Giants on the Run, and then it just sort of goes on from there and doesn't let you go. The riffs, the gallop, the melodies, the harmonies, it's all bang on for me. I get what Jeff's saying because you know who Helloween is, and this sounds exactly like that. But for me, even though I loved the self-titled album a few years ago, and I think that album is better than this one, don't get me wrong, I think that this lineup still continues to impress me anyway. I think the vocal pairing of Kiski and Darris is phenomenal. I think it just works. To me, like Jeff said, I think more bands should do this sort of stuff. I think it's amazing. But then when Hansen steps in on certain tracks, it's just the icing on the cake. The hooks are huge across this one. The synth hits are perfectly timed with every gear change on the album. Even the right out of the gate, sort of, they have these sort of growly moments, which is not something they've commonly done, which is why, for me, I didn't think they were resting on their laurels. 17 albums in, 4 decades in, and they're still curious and exploring, maybe not as much as they possibly could have done, but I think they still added some new flavors here and there that aren't that common in the repertoire anyway, to me. I thought it was a really nice touch. After that sets the tone for the album straight away. You get this whole thing is epic, uplifting, so well written. Savior of the World picks up perfectly where Giants on the Run leaves off, with even more vivid storytelling as far as I'm concerned, where the images these songs can paint in your mind are incredible, and that feel-good sort of power metal spirit that these guys embody and demonstrate, for lack of a better term, or put out into the world so well, it shines on every turn of this album. The performances are outstanding across the board. The leads and the solos are, as always, tailored to suit the song, never overly indulgent, always in the service of the hook and the song. And the rhythm section, though, deserves huge credit across the album for mine. They hold down the chaos and make the big moments hit even harder. The production carves out space for everything to shine. It's, for me, interesting that I think these guys, in some respects, are still trailblazing, like I said, 4 decades into their career as a band. That even if it's not to do with the songs on this album, the fact that they've got the dual vocalists and they're bringing that thing back, it's similar to what Iron Maiden did all those years ago as well. And that thing where you bring back old members, if you can get the chemistry right, it just is something truly special. And even for me, just things like having 2 vocalists harmonizing each other is something I would love to see more of across the world of rock and metal in general. A Little Is a Little Too Much is a real highlight on this album for me. I think they pull things back slightly on that one, bring back that sort of vintage 80s touch that you know and love from these guys. They mix in a bit more emotion, a bit more bite on that song as well. Then We Can Be Gods just kicks down the door after that. That opening wail is fucking killer on that song for me. The attack, the dual vocals, the riffs, the harmonies, everything about that track just lands. And that was the thing for me. I sat down and listened to this one for a few days, just bang, 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 and just, it impressed me every single time. I think the album flows flawlessly. It's got peaks, troughs, and dynamics, and also all the gear changes, all in the right spots. The first ballad, Into the Sun, arrives mid-album, and it's perfect. It's perfectly placed, perfect song. It gives the vocalist space to flex in a different way that you've had on the rest of the album, and the guitar tones are gorgeous, of course. It's pure class, nostalgic without being cheesy. There's even an a cappella moment in there, which I thought was a really wonderful touch toward the end of the song. Then you get the one that Conor mentioned, mentioned, this is Tokyo, which brings that fun bit of cheese that you sort of expect from Helloween. They've always had that sort of fun side to them, and they've done it really well here. It's infectious, it's high energy, it's loaded with ear candy, it's got a great mix, great layering. It's just pure joy to me, and I think that's why they play it live, and hopefully it came across in that context. I think the tones shift beautifully throughout the album, and while at first I thought the mix could have used a little more oomph overall, once you settle into it, I think for me they actually nailed it in the end, because the clarity is what they were going for, and they nailed it. Universe on this album is my personal favorite. It's an 8-minute epic that's fittingly cosmic. It starts spacious, then builds into this massive pulsing journey. The dual guitars, the harmonies, the rhythm, everything locks in perfectly, and that fading heartbeat at the end is a really beautiful little touch. There's a lot of little details across this.
I enjoyed that one live. I remember they played that. That was really
nice.
Good. It was great.
Cool.
It was awesome.
There you go. I'm glad these songs are landing in the live environment, because that's cool. As the album starts to head towards close, you've got Hand of God, which leans into the groove, the depth, the emotion, and another killer hook on there as well. And while Under the Moonlight delivers that sort of Christmas morning feel as well, that feel-good vibe that this band always manages to capture and embody, like that I was looking for that moment, and it arrived at the right time, right before the end of the album. Then to close it all out, Majestic is the song that finishes things off exactly as it should. It's another long cinematic epic that is... that for me blends the light and shade across the whole album and ties it all in a bow and finishes things off beautifully. There's even a little subtle Eastern flavor on that particular song, which takes you somewhere else for the final song on the album. For me, the fact that the band is still exploring new things like that and continuing to do new things, they're still experimenting, not as, they're not like a prog band, but they're still finding new little things to do. They're still putting out material this strong after all these years, after all, the chaos they've endured, especially early on. It's incredible. Giants and Monsters opens and closes with absolute power, and everything in between is equal to that or better. I didn't think there was any filler here, Jeff, for me personally, and I think it's one of the albums of the year. It's got brilliant songwriting, phenomenal performances, and the kind of uplifting melodic metal only Helloween can deliver. If you love melody and power in your metal, this is essential listening. I gave this one 9 shots. Universe, A Little is a Little Too Much, Hand of God, Into the Sun, and so many more. This is so good across the board. So get involved, folks, and let us know what you think of that. So I have one more treat, I guess, trick or treat, take your pick, before we get out of here tonight, and that is, we'll come back in a second, but for now, I'm going to take us back in time. If everything goes to plan, I'm going to take us way, way back in time. Don't know how many years ago now, to the old bar set, if it all goes well. I do have other versions of this that I might, if I can't find that, I'll pull something out of the hat. I'll pull a rabbit out of the hat. But anyway, we're going to go back in time now and revisit some classic reviews of Keepers of the Seven Keys, parts 1 and 2, because, we have to, because it's a Helloween special for 2025. So I'll go to that now, and we'll come back and wrap things up in a moment for us, but a bit longer for you. Enjoy these classic blasts from the past.
Helloween, Keeper of the Seven Keys, part 1. 8 songs for 38 minutes, second studio album from this German 5-piece, released May 1987 via Noise. Produced by Tommy Newton and Tommy Hansen, this album's guitar work was mostly done by Kai Hansen due to Michael Weikart being injured. This was originally meant to be released with part 2 as a double album, but the plan was knocked on the head by the label. One single was released, Future World, but there was also a video made for Helloween with 8 minutes cut out of the song.
There is a full version out there, though.
There is? Fucking hell.
Really?
It's a mini movie. This would peak at number 104 in the US, number 42 in Sweden, 18 in Switzerland, and 15 in Germany. Dave?
One of the things I've always enjoyed about Helloween is they've got a real fun element to their music. It's upbeat, it's optimistic, A Little Time, Future World. They're just great feel-good songs. Yeah. You can tell they're enjoying what they're doing too. Yeah. Performance-wise, the playing is amazing, and they never fall into the trap of, hey, we can play faster, that's all we're going to do. There's times when they'll just let a chord ring or there's a break in the music, and it just gives extra punch to the songwriting. When I first heard this, I was about 10 years old. It would be one of the earliest heavy metal albums I ever heard. Wow. And it's probably responsible for my love of guitar music. Infectious riffs, amazing solos. This stuff has stuck with me my whole life. The 13-minute track Helloween is without question one of the best epic songs ever written. Boy. Fucking love it. It's not long for the sake of being long, and it puts you right in the scene of a Halloween night and with all types of crazy shit going on.
Like this show.
Yeah. It's just no dancing dinosaurs.
Check out the Facebook page.
You got It doesn't seem like 13 minutes at all. Every Halloween for the past 20 years, I've put this song on as the sun goes down.
There we go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The solo sections are beyond belief on this, especially the harmonised ones towards the end.
Do your kids like that when you put it on?
They are going to. They're starting to become more aware of what's going on.
Good.
I'm teaching them right.
Yeah.
They didn't play the song Helloween for 17 years. They stopped playing it in 1989, and it returned to the live set in 2006. So that gives you an idea of where the band's at these days. So if you've only heard the earlier stuff, check out some newer stuff. Give it 10 out of 10.
10?
Yep, standouts are A Little Time, Future World, and Halloween.
I haven't listened to part 1 as much as I've listened to part 2, but they're both amazing and iconic. I count them as one album like they were supposed to be, a double album. Think Kill Bill Volume 1 and Volume 2. It's still one movie. But seeing as we're reviewing them separately, fuck it. I love...
Half your review is on the process of reviewing.
Yes. I love Walls of Jericho, and Kai Hansen's vocals on that album suit those songs best, but Michael Kiske has... he was such a much welcome addition to the band. I can't breathe. He's one of my favourite vocalists of all time, and Helloween are one of my favourite bands of all time. True power metal. This is the band that started it all. They cemented the power metal genre with this album and the next, which many people call the Bible of power metal. Ooh. Jesus.
I give you good stuff.
Yes. The production is fantastic, as is the music, lyrics, and vocals. Guitar work is incredible, as expected. Kai Hansen's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
A must-have in any heavy metal fans collection. No dud tracks, but I gave it a 9.5 out of 10 for some reason. Standouts are Hotel, It Wasn't Right, Future World, I'm Alive, Halloween, and Twilight of the Gods.
Yeah, this is the start of the classic era Halloween lineup with Kiske coming into the band. I reckon Michael Kiske really took this band to the next level. He got them the success outside of Germany. Great voice. The girls absolutely loved him. And he was a great performer. So, he had it all, really. A Little Time and Future World are the classic tracks here, I reckon. The whole album is excellent. Great power metal songs. A singer that just nailed them. Production's really good. Can't read what I'm writing with a stupid mask on. The band has a real quirkiness about them, which is what
just
you
like
said
you.
too. I've always loved that. And I only gave it an 8 out of 10. I don't know why, so I'll change it to a 9.
10. So much for a process.
Not a 10, it's a 9.
Any highlights?
18 is 9.
Oh, well, all the songs, but A Little Time and Future World are always my favourite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I put down my first note was Dennis will love this, power metal. However, this is a band that for me is on that never-ending to-do list. I'm not really experienced with Helloween. I remember going through the shops and seeing their artwork and wanting to pick it up, and there was always something else that got my attention more importantly in that moment. Blistering guitar work, the bass, the drums and vocals do more than enough to keep up with it though, and the backing or gang vocals on this are really well done. They added a great depth to the sound.
Those fucking Germans, man.
Yeah, they know how to do it.
Yeah.
The two focal points are clearly going to be the vocals and guitar, but that's deservedly so, but it doesn't detract from anything else. Sonically, though, it's a really interesting piece of work. I love the added little sort of Foley aspects that were done that give it an epic feel. I usually associate what they've done here with bands more like Pink Floyd, but they've done a really good job on this record. Probably a few aspects that could have been a little bit smoother, but it doesn't hurt the listen at all. It adds something to it. The lyrics are well done, suited to the style. I got a bit of a Bruce Dickinson blend with Jeff Tate feel on the vocal.
Yeah.
So if you're new to the band, I'm not completely, but just more like that, then this is what you're sort of looking for in the sound. Good album craft, nice use of my favourite peaks, troughs and dynamics. Nice composition overall across all the songs as well. Some really good memorable hooks though. That was, I think, the fun part that you guys were referencing is that the hooks that they have are really good.
Yeah.
Nice harmonies as well. I really enjoyed that. Very 80s flavoured album, but the production holds up pretty well. Sounds good and dynamic still after all this time. Nearly 30 odd years. It's all about the riffs and the vocals though. If you like big, powerful vocals and great guitar work, then this is for you. That said, there is a lot more to this album than that, and if you skip anything, even moments in songs, you will miss out because there is a lot going on here. Great vibe and energy shifts. Short album by today's standards, but pretty riveting one. You can't lose interest while listening to it at all. Helloween. Dave covered it off. It's one hell of an epic track. Well done. If you wanted one song to sum up this album, I think that's got to be it. Well worth a listen. Everything also gets to shine on one track in so many ways, and it's got a great use of theatre about it. Very solid, well-crafted album that makes great use of all the elements combined in a rarely done, nice and even way. Great use of theatre again, and I'm really keen for part 2 now after hearing this. Certainly a band I'll be putting up a bit higher on that to-do list that I've got. I'm glad we're covering a couple of them tonight. 8.5 out of 10. A Tale It Wasn't Right, Future World, and Helloween. Check it out for yourselves and give us your thoughts. Helloween, again, Keeper of the Seven Keys, Part 2. 10 tracks for 55 minutes this time around. Third studio album from the German five-piece, released August 1988 via Noise, produced by Tommy Hansen. This was the follow-up to their previous album and was well received. 2 singles were released, Dr. Steen and I Want Out. Peaked at 108 in the US, 47 in Holland, 24 in the UK and 27 in Japan, and had a host of top 10 spots across Europe. Go on.
Another incredible album, and probably Helloween's last good album, according to this dickhead. Kiske and the band in their prime. This album has so many iconic songs and anthems, it isn't funny. What some of you might not know is they had the same management as Iron Maiden around this period, and they could have been as big as Maiden had they kept this lineup without disputes and the following album in 91. But that was probably the label's fault, because they would actually not let them release music for a while, which sucked. At one point, Kiske was in the running to replace Bruce Dickinson, apparently, in Iron Maiden, but that other dickhead got the job. I think every metal fan has heard at least one of these songs. Perfect production, music, vocals, lyrics. I can't fault this at all. It's a 10 out of 10 album.
Wow.
Standouts are I Want Out, Eagle Fly Free, Dr. Steen, March of Time, Rise and Fall, and Keeper of the Seven Keys, which is an epic track.
Yes.
Fast, fun, and heavily melodic. These
Or melodically heavy.
Melodically heavy, heavily melodic.
Oh
Don't confuse me. These 2 albums really set the standard for a lot of bands that would follow in the power metal genre. I don't even think power metal was around back in 1988.
Started it.
They created a genre. There's a lot of diversity on this album too. The songwriting credits go to various members of the band, resulting in a few different styles of metal throughout. There's some really thrashy songs, more heavy metal songs, a bit mixed in. This album proves that you can write heavy metal songs that do appeal to a wider audience. I Want Out has such a great melody, brilliant lyrics, and it's fun. And the video is cool too.
The concept of that song, the song, the lyrics
It
of it are
was
really
such an enjoyable song. Draw the listener in with that one, and then give them the 13-minute title track. I think the Keeper of the Seven Keys song is even more complex than Helloween, with more sections, more changes, and a more powerful tale. I do prefer Helloween though. I have to give credit to the artwork as well. In itself, it's a great image, but it really, as an album cover, it gives an indication of what you're going to get. Standouts would be Rise and Fall, Dr. Steen, I Want Out, Keeper of the Seven Keys, and Save Us, and 9 out of 10.
This is the album that got me into Helloween. I can remember when I first heard songs from this in 1988, and again I have to thank Mr. Alan Thomas for that, because again he was the only one doing it, and the man was a legend. Far out, man. Anyway, I prefer this to part 1. I think that, well, originally I wrote here, I think the progression in the band playing and writing wise is way above part 1, but they probably recorded them at exactly the same time because it was going to be a double album, wasn't it? So that statement right there is just stupid. I don't even know why I said it, to be honest. But yeah. The lyrics are always funny in parts. I've always loved the small, like, weird sounds they put into their songs.
Rise.
Like trumpet and kazoo, and there's always crap everywhere. It's great. You've got a great sense of humour. And yeah, like you were saying earlier, they obviously love what they're doing. You know, they're having a lot of fun. Eagle Fly Free, Rise and Fall, Dr. Steen, I Want Out. They're all classic songs, so good. They would still play all those live, yeah?
Only the ones that Kai Hansen didn't write.
Oh my God, really that bad, is it?
One of my favourite albums from my teenage years. I love it, and I will give it a 10 out of 10. It deserves a 10 out of 10, I think. It's a great album.
Well, musically, this one picks right up where the last one left off, in my opinion, but the production is warmer and richer. This really flows well from part 1, especially as I'm listening to these ones back-to-back in the review process. There is a lot more focus on the individual artists within the band, but a really cohesive and collaborative way it's done in. This steps up from the previous one in that regard. Generally longer songs, and as such a much longer album, but this feels better served overall for that, so it doesn't really drag, it just feels like it suits it all. This one has a bit more experimentation going on, more diversity overall, more interesting switches in style, which is what you were saying about the writing credits and how it switches up. The tone and the vibe and all that sort of stuff, it all fits really well together. Different, more exaggerated use of the theatre as well, but it all still fits. Still more of the same from the last one that ties this down. Great melodic vocals, really great vocals. Awesome rhythm sections, solos that are tasteful along with nice harmonies. It's more great power metal. It just takes what they did with their last album and kicks it up a gear and is a little more creative. They also seem to have improved that hook-based aspect of their writing, and it shows in their singles. For example, I Want Out. That's got one of the best metal hooks ever written, I think.
So good.
Out of the two epics, the first track, Helloween, was better in my opinion. I enjoyed that as an epic track a lot more. While this is the equal and probably better of the two in a lot of ways, this one's probably too long overall, though. The epic title track is too long and drawn out. Probably could have kept the best bits of it and made it into another track about 5 minutes long, in my opinion. Instead of being 14 minutes long. You could have saved about 10 minutes out of that. Still a very good album, improved writing and warmer production overall that serve everything well and is a positive step up from the last one. Not enough to give it a higher score, as both albums have different standout points, but still very worth the listen. 8.5 out of 10. Eagle Fly Free, Dr. Steen, March of Time, and we'll add I Want Out as well, because you can't not. Check it out for yourselves, and give us your thoughts.
Well, that wraps us up here. That concludes our Helloween special for this year. Hopefully you've all enjoyed it, and make sure you give us your thoughts and check out all the music for yourselves and all the usual stuff that we tell you to do. And check us out on TV as well. Thursday nights, Channel 44 Adelaide, 10:30 p.m. Saturday nights, Channel 31 in Melbourne. It's 10:30 p.m. Thursday as well for the other channel. Yeah, check us out on TV for the music side of things, where we can play things there. And then, keep up to date with us on social, especially YouTube and Discord and Patreon, because not even just the free stuff, don't join for money, but just that way you keep up to date with what we're doing, how we're doing things, because we are making some changes as things go forward while I go through and sort out a few things on my end that need to be addressed, because I put it off for a bit longer than I should have. But yeah, everything's good. We're going to try this one for a while and see what happens. The live streams, the traditional ones, are going to be on ice for a bit, but we'll work things out as we go along, and we'll try and give you guys as much fun as we can, as well as get some interviews in the works as well, if everything goes the way I want it to go. It's all things are sort of tentative at the moment, but bear with us and we'll find a rhythm and a flow that works for us and hopefully for you out there as well. But a big thank you to Jeff, as always, for jumping in the middle of the screen. A big thank you to Conrad for jumping in too. First time for a while. Good to see you again. And
we'll come back some more. I hope to do some more.
Yes, we'd love to have that. And we'll keep you in the loop with everything going on, and we'll hopefully get some of the Patreon people that are behind the scenes here watching these ones jumping in for some special little moments here and there as well. Looking forward to seeing you guys get in there, not just in the chat. I want to get some of you guys on camera.
That's right.
I want to get some of you guys in here to join us.
All you need is a fucking phone. That's all you need.
That's all you need. It's very easy to do. We haven't had any problems so far, so we'll walk you through it. Just let us know. We'll work with you, and there'll be some people who'll be messaging directly to get some things off TikTok as well. And Kat, that includes things like getting that interview lined up that we've been talking about for a while now as well. But anyway, that'll do it for now. A big thank you to everyone watching. Again, bear with us for a bit while we try and work through some changes that simply are overdue and have to be made, just to make sure health comes first for a little while as we go through things. But a big thank you for your patience over the last few weeks while things have been a bit quiet and been working some things out. Back again with more very, very soon. Again, thanks to Jeff. Thanks to Conrad. I'm Andrew. Until next time, you all know what to do. Drink up. Rock on.
Cheers.
Cheers.